Hey there, guys. Welcome to another action figure review. And today we're going to be taking a look at these Marvel Legend retro figures. But I will be honest with you guys, there's not much I could say about these figures, you know. So I think I'm going to spend much more time talking about, like just the current climate of Marvel and the shows in general. And I don't know when's the last time I spoke about Marvel shows and Marvel movies, but I'm gonna talk some theories that I have, some what I think is gonna happen to the Marvel universe and what have you. And hopefully you guys get to enjoy it. I recently finished watching Loki season 2, and to be quite honest with you, it's probably the show I enjoyed the most, or at least the one that had the more satisfying conclusion since Loki season 1. I think that's the last time I was actually really you know just um just felt like it actually felt like a good ending. And it's kind of weird that both season 1 and season two's ending both deal with like just the splintering of universes. And I always thought that um it's a good bookmark towards the movies. Like, I feel out of all the shows being produced, a lot of people can make the argument that WandaVision led into Multiverse of Madness, and Captain America, I mean, Falcon and Winter Soldier, or then it became Captain America and Winter Soldier. Um, it also is leading into the New World Order movie, or whatever it's being called now. Or Serpent Society, right? Something like that. I don't know. But anyways, I think Loki in itself is a good kind of bookmark for the whole phase as a whole. Many people might say that this is one of the worst phases creatively, and I gotta agree. They're missing something in regards to the current Marvel climate and universe. I really don't know what could save it at this point in time. Without giving up much spoilers, though, Loki season 2 was great. I do highly recommend that show, and I will say that it can be a bit convoluted at times, but they perfectly hold your hand and explain everything to you in a way that you will understand. Because I will say that, by the way, nice artwork on this Venom right here. I will say that, let me see, look at the back of the card right here. Joined with reporter Eddie Brock, the symbiote Venom has only one plan: getting revenge on the Amazing Spider-Man. Unido al reportero Eddie Brock, el simbionte Venom tiene un solo plan: vengarse del increíble Hombre Araña. So, yeah. I'm definitely gonna keep the box art for these figures. I decided to open them because you know I I know I was advised, I was told, and like given the advice that I should probably hold on to them carded, but I don't know. I think I'm gonna enjoy them more just loose. So I do collect 3 3/4 figures, and this is one line that I think would benefit more from just having the cards loose like that. But yeah, anyways, going back to Loki, one of the parts of the show where I think was very kind of confusing was in the first scene with, well, actually it was the ending scene of season 1 and the opening scene of season 2, and you really didn't I honestly thought it was a separate multiverse, and that the TVA just had splintered off into multiverse versions of itself, and that it's not the case at all. Great sculpt on this figure, by the way. And it just turns out that spoiler alert. It turns out that he was actually in the past. Loki was in the past, and you know, I would have never guessed it had they not explained it to you. Because yeah, I thought it was just it feels weird because I feel like they use time travel as a great device to get out of Endgame, and I felt that yes, Loki does deal with time travel as a whole, but it actually dealt with alternate universes, or at least I thought that was a whole thing, different timeline, different universe, and I guess the only place where the only place where I guess time just works without affecting it and turning into like a parallel universe is actually the TVA itself. So and obviously I did like the whole Ouroboros Obi, the name drop, just literally like that was a great scene. Like when like the knowledge was just coming to him from the past, and he was just recalling what was going on in the future. I thought that was pretty great. Dr. Bruce Banner, struck by gamma rays, turns into the Hulk, an enormous hero with massive green bulk. That's how the song went, right? El Doctor Bruce Banner, afectado por los rayos Gemma, se convierte en Hulk, un enorme héroe verde. Something like that. Anyways, it's unpunched, but like it's already damaged. I guess that's one of the biggest factors as to why I'm gonna open them, because I mean the packaging is already damaged on a lot of these cards. So I mean it's only for me, and I will say that as much as I'm collecting like fully articulated Marvel Universe figures, I know I'm going everywhere with this conversation, but as much as I'm collecting Marvel Universe figures, okay, boom. If the card is damaged, it's not gonna serve me that much well, and it would be fun to own kind of like retro versions of these figures right here, and because sometimes the lack of articulation makes for better sculpts, and this is like a great classic Hulk figure. Same with the Venom. That's just a great late 80s Venom design right there. But yeah, so where I'm getting at with this is so the rumor mill is pretty much that which by the way, I thought Jonathan Majors, controversy aside, I thought Jonathan Majors actually did well in the Loki show. He was able to literally play two different versions of the same character, and I thought that was pretty good. Like one was so sympathetic, and the other was just so um, remorseful, not remorseless. Yeah, remorseless. Like, is that a word? But yeah, and it just worked. Sadly, though, I think he is gonna get the boot. But then again, I think that was the whole plan all along, that Jonathan Majors was gonna get replaced, and he's gonna get replaced and replaced. Maybe not as his role was gonna get replaced, but I think Kang is definitely gonna be downsized as a villain, and to be quite honest, I thought that's what was gonna happen all along. I thought Kang was never gonna be the big bad. I don't even think he was gonna be the big bad of his own movie. But that's just, maybe that's just me speaking out loud, but I just never saw him being the big bad of the movie series. Even Kang Dynasty, I feel like in Kang Dynasty, you would see the real big bad of Secret Wars. Who do I believe was going to be the big bad of Secret Wars? It was either going to be the Beyonder, or even, and here's a big if, I could even see it being, as like a lot of people are stating, Doctor Doom. And you might be asking like, well, how are they going to introduce Doctor Doom before introducing the Fantastic Four? And you're right, but I think there might be a way to. He has a peg hole, but I do not see how. I mean, unless you could attach this right here like that. I do not see how Doctor Doom could could work without introducing the Fantastic Four. But I mean, they already did introduce the Fantastic Four. They introduced it in Multiverse of Madness, which, by the way, was a good movie. Was I satisfied with the end result of the movie? No. They could. I mean, as a movie, stylized, it's great. It's a fantastic movie as its stylized thing. But as of pushing the narrative, I don't think it's probably one of the. I don't think it's one of the best movies to follow if you're concerning narrative, because it totally butchered. It totally butchered any concept of a multiverse existing before Kang, in my honest opinion. And yeah, I don't know how to explain. I want to say that you can't have a movie called Multiverse of Madness and only show like one parallel universe, or you know, um, yeah. So I feel like as a Sam Raimi movie, it hit all the right notes, but to follow the narrative that they're trying to tell in the phase, it did fail in that aspect. I will relent, as much as I like to give kudos to that movie. But anyways, in regards to that, so okay, so pretty much from what I okay, so wrapping everything back up, I did enjoy Loki. I did enjoy Kang's character. It's a shame he might be replaced. Probably gonna replace by like Doctor Doom. What's a good way to introduce Doctor Doom? Hey, I got an idea. Why not say that Doctor Doom at one point in time in the MCU, in the 616, even though it's not the 616 universe, guys. Let's be honest, it's not the 616 universe, but let's say that in the 616 universe, there was a time where both Fantastic Four and X-Men did exist along the same universe that was already established. Yes, kind of, guys could say it's kind of the way that the Sentry comic book was written, the comic series in which the Sentry had existed alongside the Marvel heroes during like their heyday. And then in order to save the universe from the void, he had to like delete himself, you know? I would really think would a good way to say, hey, and maybe people might feel cheaped, might feel like they're being gypped, or kind of like cheaped out on this, is say that, hey, at one point in time, the MCU, the same MCU that housed, Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man, the same MCU that housed, that housed the Guardians, this version of the Guardians of the Galaxy with Chris Pratt, what have you, Benedict Bumper Crash Cumberdash, whatever, Doctor Strange. At one point in time, they actually did have a Doctor Doom, and they did have an X-Men, and that Doctor Doom found some way to amass the Phoenix Force from Jean Grey, and it just became such a powerful being that he literally had to be wiped out from existence. And not even Kang could control him. It literally took a whole army of Kangs or Beyonders or whatever you want to say to stop this version of Doctor Doom. But now, with the timeline being splintered out, but like the Kang, with the He Who Remains being, killed off, let's say at the end of either killed off or weakened or seriously weakened throughout Loki season 2 and throughout his own movie, The Kang Dynasty, this, God Emperor Doom, of course, just is back, and God Emperor Doom is actually from the 616 universe, from the 616 movie universe, and he just came to get his revenge. And I always saw that happening. See, I always saw that happening. I never saw Kang being the villain of 2 movies. That would be way too much, in my honest opinion, especially since he was already the villain of Quantumania, and that kind of didn't fare that well, right? But anyways, back to that. I think that's the case in regards to Kang. Being phased out, I think he was always being planned on being phased out, and to be honest, I think they filmed way too many scenes already, despite his controversy, that I think they're gonna keep Jonathan Majors in this role. That's just my honest opinion. 2 other theories. First of all, let's go to the whole thing about, like, well, Loki if you guys saw the ending of season 2, he literally transcends time, almost like if he's a living Infinity Stone. He became a Nexus being, and I feel that's what's gonna happen because Nexus beings are super powerful, and it perfectly explains how Wanda was able to just destroy everything she came up against on a one-on-one basis, except for Doctor Strange due to plot armor. But anyways, uh, and even then, I think Wanda only stopped because she saw how much of a monster she had become. And I think where I'm getting at with this is that there's this running theory that since the Infinity Stones were destroyed in the Sacred Timeline by Thanos, yes, they do exist in other timelines, but there's a safeguard as well put in place that these Nexus beings will eventually become living Infinity Stones, and we already saw that with Wanda, with in the Reality Stone, and notice how she has an aura of red. Of course, if you guys saw Loki season 2, spoiler alert, at the end he literally is in the center of all the timelines. He's like weaving the timelines throughout, and stands on a throne in the center of this. He literally weaves the timelines into this tree, which is I'm not gonna try to pronounce it. The Igris. I should have read. I should have proofread this beforehand. The YGG Drasil, Yggdrasil, whatever, the Norse tree. That. So he literally created that out of the timelines, and he glows a green aura. And he's become this master of space, of time, I should say, not space. There's someone else that's rumored to be the master of space, as in distances, and that's Captain Marvel, Photon, Spectrum, Cable, whatever you want to, Spectrum, Cable, whatever you want to call her. So that Captain Marvel, Monica Rambeau, is rumored to also kind of be the living embodiment of the Space Stone. Loki is the living embodiment of the Time Stone. Wanda is the living embodiment of the Reality Stone. And more characters are going to be revealed as being the living embodiments of certain stones. My only thing against that theory is that why is it only characters from uh why is it only characters from that 616 universe that seemingly are getting this powers? Because the rumor is that Adam Warlock is going to be the living embodiment of the Soul Stone, kind of like how he was in the comics, which makes perfect sense. But then it's like literally and maybe there's this whole thing about that sacred timeline, that 616 movie universe being the thing. I don't know. The main thing, like the Prime universe, and in DC terms, in DC Comics terms, the Prime universe, whatever happens to that universe happens to all the other ones in some form or fashion. But still, I think in regards to Captain Marvel, I know I'm going everywhere, but whatever, just stay with me on this. In regards to Captain Marvel, I think I already saw the spoiler for that. Spoiler alert again. She transports, like, she like kind of blips out of this this 616 Marvel universe, and she winds up being in a different universe in which her mom is still alive, and not only that, but she's being tended to by Beast of the X-Men. Boom, that's pretty awesome, and it's just seeming like she's always there, and it reminds me of this book by Stephen King. I think it's Stephen King and Peter Straub. I think that's the author's name. It's called The Talisman. But pretty much in that book, there's two dimensions, and a boy, since his doppelganger. So there's a doppelganger in the parallel dimension. But if you don't have a doppelganger, you just warp to the same spot in the alternate universe. If you do have a doppelganger, you transform into your doppelganger when you go to that alternate universe. And I think that's what's going on with Monica Rambeau, Spectrum, whatever you happen. She just became a master of space. So no matter what, since she's a Nexus being, no matter what universe she goes to, she's gonna be herself in that location, just in an alternate universe, space wise. And I think that's what's going on with her. So I think that's the running theory, is that whoever the big bad, the big threat is at the end of Kang Dynasty, or even Secret Wars, whether it's Beyonder Kang, whether it's just an evil Beyonder, whether it's Emperor God Doom, or even something else, Galactus, what have you, Mephisto. Finally, we're gonna get Mephisto. I think that I think that uh, one of the key plot points is gonna be these living embodiments of the Infinity Stones. And final theory that I'm gonna talk about is it deals with I know they're rumoring that Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr. and Scarlett Johansson as Natasha Romanoff, the Black Widow, they're supposedly going to bring them back, and that's been the big rumor. And here's the thing: I always kind of thought they were going to be brought back. I always imagined Robert Downey Jr. coming back, and maybe not so much for Secret Wars, maybe even just for Kang Dynasty, and maybe Beyonder Kang is going to be the villain of his own movie, you know? And I always saw Robert Downey Jr. just coming back and, using something to destroy the most powerful of the Kangs. I just saw it. It's just that's how I always felt that movie, like that villain was gonna be off, and what gives me that idea, it's the fact that if you guys watch What If, no matter what, seemingly in every alternate universe, Tony Stark finds some way to die, and I don't think it's by accident. I think no matter what, there's a being in place that does not want Tony Stark to be alive, any Tony Stark to be alive in any universe. So they're trying to like have him dead because they know how much of a threat he could become at some point in the future. So yeah, so I always saw Tony Stark, Iron Man coming back, and they will be back. I trust me, they will be back. There's just, and I think at the end of Secret Wars, if we go by my theory of like, well, it's going to be some version of Doctor Doom or whatever, or the Phoenix Force or what have you, or Galactus and this and that, they're going to reset everything all over again, and they're going to do everything right. As in, what is right, you might say, as in they're going to start everything off like they did in the comics with like the Fantastic Four. The same way the Silver Age of comic books, at least from the Marvel side, start off with the Fantastic Four. It's going to start off like that as well. And also the X-Men is just going to be, the old classic X-Men like that. And maybe, I don't know if they're going to keep Tom Holland Spider-Man, or they're just going to do yet another Spider-Man again. That could go either or, that could go either or. It might be Tom Holland again as Spider-Man, but it's definitely, whoa, something just fell. Conspiracy. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's my theories regarding Marvel shows. So yeah, hopefully I didn't spoil anything for you guys. Now I'm gonna go back to reviewing these figures. So this Captain America is a heroic force for all time, fighting to keep freedom and liberty safe from evil crime. El Capitán América es una fuerza heroica para todos los tiempos, luchando para mantener la libertad de salvo de los malvados criminales. Okay. So let's open the Dark Phoenix now, and as you could see, she got damaged in the packaging as well. A Firebird flying across the stars, a Phoenix bonded with Jean Grey and though she burned up in flames, she'll live to soar another day. El Fénix, un pájaro de fuego que vuela por las estrellas, se unió a Jean Grey, y aunque ella ardió en llamas, vivirá para volar otro día. All right, let's open her up. But yeah, I'm really. And I see, like, the cards are already damaged. So whatever. And no worries, guys. I will give these guys scores at the end of the video. So just stick with me for all. Now that I went through my whole theories, shouldn't take that long to just go through this right here. The beautiful packaging on all these figures, I will say. This is kind of rubbery right here, rubbery material. Of course, all these figures just have the same articulation, just 5 POA or 7 POA for some of them, because they actually do have cuts right here. Like she actually has a cut right here. Funny enough, I thought this would have been a boot cut and it would have been movable, but I don't think it is. I'm not even going to try to move it. I just wind up breaking it. This Hulk also does not have any movement here or any cuts right here. It's just, this is a like typical 5 POA figure. Same thing with Venom. Captain America, though, I could have sworn, yeah, see, his gloves do move like that. So, and actually no, I thought his boot would move as well, but no. It looks like it's moving, but no, it's just stretching out. So there you go. Green Goblin. Right here. Nice Kenner box art. Green Goblin, a cruel and dangerous criminal flying on his goblin glider with innocent lives hanging by a web. The Green Goblin ensnares the spider. Un criminal peligroso que vuela en su goblin glider con vidas inocentes colgando de una telaraña. El duende verde atrapa el hombre araña. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Nice articulation. His gloves do spin. He actually seems to be most well proportioned of these figures right here. Not bad. I think the glider is made to stand on. Let's see. Nice black suit Spider-Man. When Spider-Man bonds with an alien entity, the symbiote supercharges his heroic identity. Cuando Spider-Man se une a una... Should it be el Hombre Araña? Cuando el Hombre Araña se une a una entidad alienígena, el simbionte refuerza su identidad heroica. It's weird how they call him Hombre Araña sometimes and then Spider-Man other times. Boom. Okay, Elektra, even though it has Daredevil packaging. Trained as a ninja by the hand, Elektra Nachios became the deadliest of assassins in high demand. Entrenada como ninja por la mano, Elektra Nachios se convirtió en la asesina más letal y popular de todas. Any way to store these size? No. She's gonna have to just have them on her hand all the time. The gloves do spin on her though, so that's good. There you go. So one thing about these Fantastic Four figures, no matter, so whoever you bought is right here up in center, and then the other three members are always going to be here in the Fantastic car. So it's a nice little touch in my honest opinion. When the Fantastic Sue Storm wields force fields and invisibility, villains can't defeat what they can't see. La fantástica Sue Storm genera campos de fuerza y se hace invisible, y los villanos no se pueden vencer lo que no pueden ver. Not bad. I always did like this color on the Fantastic Four. Like this blue and white color scheme. And that's Mrs. Fantastic right there. Black Widow. I always found these hands odd. The fact that she has these hands like that. Any spider can spin a web and pull on its strings. But evildoers beware, this Black Widow stings. Cualquier araña puede tejer una tela y tirar de sus hilos. Pero que tengan cuidado de los malhechores, porque Black Widow no es una araña cualquiera. Okay. I thought the cut would be right here on her bracers, but it actually is above them. And she comes with this crossbow weapon. Whoa, what the heck? It's actually more like a grappling launcher. So just climb up walls. Okay. Carol Danvers, Miss Marvel. Soaring through the skies, Carol Danvers flies with superhuman strength and speed. In the fight to save the world, she's the hero we need. Also known as Miss Marvel, also known as Warbird. Surcando los cielos, Carol Danvers vuela con una fuerza y velocidad sobrehumana. En la lucha por salvar el mundo, es el héroe que necesitamos. ¿Es la héroe o es el héroe? Great. I actually do like the sculpting on these guys. Like I said, sometimes limited sculpting, but limited articulation, but good sculpting goes a long way. Sometimes it's better to not have as much articulation points and just go for the sculpt. And yeah, I think these figures are living proof of that. Okay. And Thor right here. Hark now, true believers, though his manner may seem odd, the mighty Thor delivers unto his foes the hammer of the gods. Escuchad, verdaderos creyentes, aunque su actitud puede parecer extraña, el poderoso Thor descarga a sus enemigos el martillo de los dioses. like tape already inside this guy. This cape is being held like that. Cool, so I could give the cape to Captain America. Dang, this guy feels like he could be more articulated, but he's not. Let's see the hammer. This hammer does not have any inscription. Even the Marvel Universe hammer does have an inscription. So just something to keep in mind. And finally, the invincible Iron Man. A genius mind and suit of armor make Tony Stark a real charmer, stopping villains where they land as the invincible Iron Man. Una mente genial y una armadura hacen de Tony Stark un verdadero personaje que detiene a los villanos como el invencible Iron Man. There. Oh, crap. These arms do rotate as well. Okay. So pretty much all these figures are good. They're not gonna go above a 7. They're each gonna get like 6.75 to 7s, I guess. My most favorites, the ones that are definitely gonna get 7s, are gonna be the Venom, the Captain America, Symbiote Spidey, Green Goblin, Hulk. No, Hulk not so much. Hulk is gonna get a 6.5. Yeah. Okay, so here's how it's gonna be. Seven, 6.75, 6.5. And that does it. Before I let you guys go, let's just go over these cards once again with the beautiful artwork. I think I did a good job keeping most of them intact. Wouldn't you say? And that's it, guys. Thank you. As always, that does it. Peace and love. And I'll be sure to bring you guys another video much soon. Peace.